This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the Narrowgate Security Agency studios.
Very thankful for the health and happiness of my family, but then as much so, that thankfulness that I have just being in Alaska, knowing that this is the land of opportunities and possibilities. So happy to get to be here.
A wonderful Thanksgiving holiday has come and gone, and today we'd like to thank our listeners for sticking with us and being so loyal since the Palin Update began back in 2011. We'll talk directly to you, our fans, in just a moment, and a big announcement regarding Mama Grizzly Radio coming up. Sarah Palin remembers TV icon Florence Henderson, and a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is on the way from Texas. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is sponsored by Narrowgate Security Agency. Learn more at narrowgate.com. Today, no guests, just us and you, the listener. Fresh off of Thanksgiving, all of us here at Mama Grizzly Radio want to say thank you. Thank you for listening to us each week. Thank you for supporting Governor Palin. Thank you for your interaction with us on social media. Thank you for standing up for liberty. Thank you for all you did to get Donald Trump elected. We've been doing this show now since 2011. Steve Bannon, our very first guest way back then, now with a big position in the Trump administration. How far we all have come, fighting every step of the way for our liberty, and now we are less than 2 months away from an administration we can respect and admire. We look forward to covering the new administration and, of course, covering all things Sarah Palin, Governor Palin playing such a pivotal role in Trump's amazing victory. Also, ladies and gentlemen, some big news. Next week, we will be making some changes here to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Partially why we have no guests this week. We're moving into a new studio, bigger, better. Tamara and I will still be here, and we'll still have a great guest every week and Palin news every week. But we're adding some unbelievable patriots to the mix. New contributors offering their take on Palin, on Trump, and on the country they love. We will make the official announcement later this week, so please stay tuned and check us out on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, and head to the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page for all the latest. You're going to love it. If you love Sarah Palin, if you love your country, you are going to love what is coming up right here on Mama Grizzly Radio each and every week starting next week. Again, thank you so much for your loyalty. It's just been amazing. And please stay tuned today for a heartfelt message of thanks from our Tamara Colbert. And I have to say, I am so thankful to have her on this program, a true friend, patriot, and an amazing Mama Grizzly. Exciting things coming up here, and we're glad that you will share it with us. You've been along for the ride since 2011, and big things to come as we roll into 2017. This past week, Florence Henderson passed away. She played Carol Brady, of course, on The Brady Bunch, really a TV mom to all Americans. The Brady Bunch, an iconic show, and Florence Henderson was the anchor of it all. Sarah Palin remembered her on Facebook, writing, "Florence Henderson's passing last night was sad news. As the Brady Bunch's matriarch, many of us truly enjoyed her wit, spunk, and talent on TV. We were fortunate to get to know Carol Brady while Florence and Bristol worked together during Bristol's first season on Dancing with the Stars. What a beautiful person. Prayers for her loved ones. Florence will always be remembered for making us happier people." Sarah Palin. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and check out sarahpac.com.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
I've had such a profound attitude of gratitude since November 8th that Thanksgiving really started weeks before the actual holiday for my own family. Of course, we have so much to be thankful for in the election of Donald Trump. But what I think is most profound is that coming after his victory is Thanksgiving, to remind us that what we can be thankful for, but also to remind us that Trump is merely a man, a human. And what that means is that he's imperfect. And what we need to remember is grace and forgiveness, not just for our leaders, but for each other. Remember that Barack Obama made his election and presidency about him in a selfish and self-serving, I'm going to get mine mentality, which is exactly why the last 8 years have been so dramatically severe on all of us as a people. But I continue to be struck by the last picture of Donald Trump in my mind after his victory, when he was on that stage at 3 a.m. to say thank you to the American people and accept that he won. He walked out different. There was something different about that man, something more humble, something that now was the weight of leading the world's most incredible, prosperous, and unique nation in our history as long as this planet has been in existence. For those of you armchair quarterbacks, this is an awesome responsibility. And unlike Obama, I believe Trump is doing this because he does believe in the ideal that is America: freedom, free markets, unlimited opportunity, and self-governance as a free people. And as the people, it's up to you and I to help him as much as we can. It doesn't mean all of us are going to apply to work for a Trump administration, but it means that we do need to have that attitude of gratitude, a humility, a can-do positivity about America's future. And welcome those who haven't been optimistic over the last 8 years because of their own personal challenges. Thanksgiving is a special time in my house because it's a time of great reflection, of understanding what my family's legacy is that is directly tied to my liberty, but America's liberty. I'm so blessed to be the 12th great-granddaughter of Captain Miles Standish. He was the security officer for the Pilgrims on their journey to America. And I love that because the security of liberty doesn't fall far from my family's tree, because I see myself today as that protector of American liberty. And I love that. The Pilgrims, my great-grandfather came here because they were separatists who knew they could not reform the Church of England. So they wanted to separate from it to form their own, but they couldn't do it there. That's why they came here. The Pilgrims obtained a land grant for Virginia. So, of course, they set sail on the Mayflower on September 6, 1620. But after a really crazy ocean crossing, they landed actually in Plymouth, Massachusetts on November 11. So here it is, the beginning of winter, no shelter of any kind, and half of the original 100 died that winter. Thankfully, my great-grandfather lived, and he worked with the Indians, not on just surviving in this new world, but thriving, which is why on their first harvest they did what was natural. They gave thanks to the Creator for their lives and their harvest. And I love the fact that Abraham Lincoln really made that first proclamation. There's been many that have made a proclamation for Thanksgiving, but he really made it official on October 3rd in 1863 in the middle of the Civil War, that Thanksgiving would be the fourth Thursday of the month of November. He said this at the end of that proclamation: "And I recommend to them that while offering up the ascriptions justly due to him, that for such singular deliverances and blessings, they do also with humble penitence for our national perverseness and disobedience, and commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation and restore it as soon as may be consistent with the divine purposes to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union." Oh my goodness, this applies to us today more than ever. We must use this Thanksgiving as the first in turning our nation from disunity and divide to unity and pride. Not a selfish pride, but the true grit of the American DNA that enables us to forgive, shake hands with our neighbor, and build and lift each other up. That is the grit that's the only way we are going to get our nation back on our feet. I love that. This week, President-elect Trump, doesn't it sound awesome to say that? President-elect Trump made some more recommendations for his cabinet. But there's one that I think is very interesting and unique. And I think I have a different perspective because there's a lot of people talking about it, trying to understand why they did it this way. And that is Dr. Ben Carson's appointment to be the Housing and Urban Development Secretary. Of course, people are saying, but he's a doctor. Why isn't he Surgeon General? Why didn't Trump nominate him for Health and Human Services Secretary? Okay, sure, that is absolutely logical. But we don't get to see behind the scenes. I would love to know that discussion between Dr. Carson and President-elect Trump. But what I see in that appointment is Dr. Carson's love and commitment to turning around the inner cities, which is exactly what Trump talked about in his campaign. This is a place that Dr. Carson knows very well because he grew up in one, in Detroit. Why does this choice stand out for me as awesome? Because what Dr. Carson is doing is looking at his own legacy, understanding where he came from, and using that experience to turn it into liberty so that Detroit could be the example, maybe Baltimore, St. Louis. Turn these cities around into growing, thriving, safe metropolises so other kids can have that opportunity for success. I love it. It's time. And I think Dr. Carson believes there's a way to do this. I think it's time to think outside the box, and I love it. Let's be Americans. This is what we do. Thinking outside the box is so American, right? It is time for common sense Americans to work to revive our nation, to inspire leaders to rise all over in every neighborhood in this great nation, right? Because America's success is actually not dependent upon Donald Trump. America's success is directly tied to her legacy, and America's legacy is in her people. That's you and me, folks. So if we want to win, it is up to us to train, to sacrifice, and run our best race, and that means giving it our all. I am so thankful for you. Thank you so much for supporting and listening to Mama Grizzly Radio. It is a sacrifice for you. It's time out of your week, out of working and working out and doing your civic duty and being in a family and all your other responsibilities with church and other things. Thank you for taking that time every week to hear truth and our different way of thinking. And thank you, Kevin Scholla, who's our executive producer and our host. He's amazing, you guys. You don't even know how much he sacrifices to do this show and to put great content out there. He's awesome because we're all volunteers in this freedom army spreading our love for our nation and for common sense, self-governance, and why we all believe that America's best days are still ahead of us, right? Thanks, Kevin. I got your back, brother. But I want to say thanks to Governor Palin. She is continuing to fight. We thank her for the legacy and the stake she's put in the ground of families committed to liberty, right? Regardless of what happens to them. Thank you, Todd, for the sacrifices your family has unfortunately had to make, not always for the better, to shed light on corruption and cronyism at the federal level, to pave the way for Donald Trump's message to make America great again be heard. The Palin family is all in for liberty. The Scholla family is all in for liberty. The Colbert family, we're all in for liberty. And I know you guys feel the same way. It is going to be an awesome year coming up. Never, ever forget to be thankful. Thanking God for these incredible blessings, this incredible nation that we live in. And I thank him for you. Tweet me this week at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizzly Radio. Have a thankful and blessed week. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, and at Tamara Colbert. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Tamara Colbert and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thank you for listening today, and thank you for supporting us since 2011. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next week for another edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio from our brand new studios, and new changes coming to this show. Big contributors joining the show next week. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.